They hunted for food, constructed their own shelters, and faced the Alaskan tundra. However, behind the scenes, the Brown family, who were Alaskan Bush people, had to deal with unanticipated storms. They have faced terrible loss, painful divorces, horrific fires, and cancer since the reality TV show's 2014 launch. However, they also created new avenues, such as starting enterprises, starting families, and redefining themselves outside of the jungle, in typical Bush people fashion. What transpired, then, after the cameras ceased recording? In 2025, where are they now? Come learn what happened to the Alaskan Bush People cast. Billy Brown. Billy Brown, the husband and father of all 7 children, was the main character of Alaskan Bush People. He was born in Fort Worth, Texas, on December 3, 1952. At the age of 16, tragedy struck when he lost both of his parents and his sister in an aircraft disaster. Billy was left to fend for himself after becoming homeless and an orphan. He gained survival skills and increased his independence as a result of these experiences. He later wed Amy Martin, who started living with him at the age of 15. They also raised their family of 7 children throughout the years. The Browns visited millions of Alaskan bush homes in 2014 thanks to Discovery Channel. Billy was the show's dynamic leader and a fervent supporter of independence. He taught his kids how to hunt, fish, make shelters, and all the other skills for living off the grid. Billy's fascination with bush living was remarkable, but it also had a negative impact on his health. He struggled with long-term cardiac and respiratory conditions, which ultimately impacted his health. Sadly, Billy died at the age of 68 after suffering a deadly seizure at their homestead in Washington on February 7, 2021. The series came to an end when his untimely demise shocked both his family and followers. The Bush People of Alaska were changed after Billy's death. The children who tried to carry out their father's vision as a family were the main subject of Season 14, which broadcast in 2022, because it was difficult to continue. Fans frequently viewed the final season as an unofficial finale, and the show ended quietly. However, what became of Amy, his wife? Amy Brown, Billy's wife and mother of 7 children, was the next significant figure in Alaskan bush culture. Born on August 28, 1963, she became the Brown family's devoted matriarch. She received a stage 3 non-small cell lung cancer diagnosis in April 2017 with a just 3% probability of survival. Her children were very concerned about her odds of surviving, but she underwent intense radiation and chemotherapy before making a full recovery. She was deemed cancer-free by December of that year. Following this, their family moved to Washington state from distant Alaska in search of better medical care. Amy's poise and fortitude developed become a significant aspect of the show's dynamic over time. She was the family's sane voice when they faced health crises and estate issues, and she frequently provided emotional support and advice. Amy was taken to the emergency room in the middle of February 2025 due to significant chest pain and breathing difficulties. She was transferred to a bigger medical facility, put into a medically induced coma and intubated in order to treat pneumonia. Her lungs are not doing well, according to Snowbird and Bear Brown. Bear stated that Amy had recovered by the end of February and had been discharged from the intensive care unit. A video of Amy at home with her kids close by and oxygen in place while she recovered was soon posted by Bear. Amy took over the management of the family estate after Billy's death. She has managed assets, such as animals and collectibles, and is facing a $500,000 lawsuit from a business partner. She has also been working toward independence, achieving goals including obtaining a driver's license. She has helped her kids along the road, beginning with Matt Brown. Matt. Known for being the oldest Brown sibling, Matt Brown appeared stable during the length of the show but eventually battled alcoholism. As a result, he left the program in 2019 and started his road to rehabilitation by checking himself into a rehab facility. Matt encountered significant difficulties from 2018 to 2020. He openly discussed allegations of financial mismanagement and drug abuse by family production and said that Billy didn't give him the money. In 2018, 2 women also accused him. Additionally, although the LAPD looked into these allegations, no charges were brought against them. Recently, Matt has been enjoying a more grounded rural existence in North Cascades, close to the family's former farm in Washington state. He is employed on a farm, engages in artistic pursuits such as hiking, beekeeping, and drawing. He occasionally winters in untamed wilderness or camps on Chupacabra Mountain, giving his thoughts and survival advice on his YouTube channel. Additionally, Matt has grown to be a fervent supporter of addiction treatment. He uses Instagram to share his sober living accomplishments, mental health insights, and words of support. YouTube as well. Additionally, he has maintained his abstinence over the years, frequently publicly commemorating his sobriety anniversaries. Matt remains apart from his personal family even though he lives close to them. Bear acknowledged the continued problems, saying they don't see Matt very often and he does his own thing. Even if he still owes money from show proceeds, at least he has somewhat made amends with his creditors. Unlike his sibling Bam Bam Brown, who made a comeback in 2019, Matt is unlikely to ever return to the show. The next Brown sibling, Joshua Bam Bam Brown, was renowned for being quiet and sensible. He had a crucial role in the Browns' independent way of life. He left the program in 2017 to pursue a relationship with producer Allison Kagan, made a brief comeback in 2019, and then left the series permanently. Bam Bam turned his attention to environmentally friendly technologies around January 2020. Insiders claim that he started a business creating eco-friendly living solutions that combine knowledge of the wilderness with cutting-edge technology. In 2022, Bam Bam faced a significant obstacle when he was hurt in a terrifying traffic collision in the state of Washington. He was operating a GMC when he narrowly escaped colliding with a camera, which sadly killed its occupant. He merely suffered minor wounds and lived. In 2025, Bam Bam paid tribute to his father's memories by finishing the audiobook adaptation of One Wave at a Time, his memoir. In addition, he has been working on photographic projects since 2019, specializing in social media, nature, and landscape photography. He and Allison lived in Charleston on a barge or yacht. Even though he doesn't post much online, Bam Bam occasionally speaks up to thank his fans and to reaffirm his father's values of freedom, family, faith, and ethos. Even though he leads a secluded life, it is nevertheless quite intentional and scandal-free. Bear Brown, the third child of the Brown family, provides us with a lot of inside information about the Alaskan Bush People. Brown Bear. On the show, Solomon Bear Brown was well known for his survival abilities and spirit of adventure. He transformed from a daredevil in the jungle to a devoted father. He moved from Alaska to Washington in 2021 after the show concluded. River, Cove, and Everest, his three little sons, were co-parented by him and Raven Brown after their marriage. Along with his brother Gabe's family, Bear and his family moved into a rented home in Washington in June 2023. Bear has been accumulating money to purchase land so that he might eventually return to Alaska. Additionally, he has been converting a school bus into a mobile home, which he is paying for with comic book and product sales. Also hinted to two spin-off projects, The Next Generation of Alaskan Bush People and Behind the Scenes with Bear Brown, but none of these have been made public yet. His transition from traditional TV to personal platforms is further supported by his social media activity, which includes updates on ranch life and family experiences, narrated thoughts, and teaser bits of old show footage. Bear has experienced his share of scandals because he is one of the most well-liked Brown siblings. Bear and Raven declared their split in 2025, although they said it was amicable and that they would co-parent without getting upset. In addition, he was arrested for misdemeanor domestic abuse. Nevertheless, the issue was settled through a plea agreement and reconciliation with Raven. Bear is currently based in Washington, where he co-parents and works on personal media projects that are probably shared on their own without being discovered. His priorities continue to be content development, family life, and real estate purchasing. However, it's questionable if the Alaskan Bush People will ever formally return. Bear's lifestyle improvements and spin-off initiatives continue to enthrall the Wolfpack community. The next brother is Gabe Brown, who is notable for his changing fashion sense. Like several of his siblings, Gabriel Brown married Raquel Rose Pantella in 2019 after leaving the Alaskan Bush People show. He and his two girls, along with a second child due in late 2024, currently reside in Washington. The couple just relocated to a rental house that is suitable for their girls, leaving behind their mountain property. Gabe, who works in homesteading and construction while pursuing artistic pursuits like music and portrait sketching, combines creativity with tough skill. His recent Instagram post of an original acoustic tune received a lot of positive feedback from followers. Gabe has been taking a break from full-time wilderness filmmaking since season 8, although he still lives off the grid. In a post expressing gratitude to the show's producers, he may have concluded his role. Fans have noticed him sporting sideburns and eyeliner, indicating a change in his look, displaying his individuality outside of the family role. Gabe had surgery earlier in 2025, but he told supporters online that he was fully recovered. He remained upbeat, expressing appreciation and excitement about going back to work on the homestead. Gabe has been open about how social media can be mentally taxing. After being disappointed by personal connections, he briefly thought about leaving platforms, but support from fans urged him to keep sharing. At the moment, Gabe is planted in Washington, concentrating on his expanding family while juggling homesteading, construction, and artistic endeavors. He stopped making frequent TV appearances but is still active on the internet, promoting his own music, artwork, and life moments with his kids. Brown, Noah. Rain and Noah D.C. Brown married in 2018, and since then, they have embraced sustainable living by cultivating food and cattle on their homestead in Washington. They chronicle their experiences of living off the grid and raising their sons, Elijah and Adam, on their social media and YouTube pages. The family had to move into a rental house when a wildfire destroyed their mountain property in 2020, which presented a significant challenge. They are establishing roots in their community and gradually rebuilding. However, when Noah and Rain made their separation public on TikTok in 2025, people were taken aback. After relocating to their guest cabin, Noah continued to spend weekends with their kids. They place a strong emphasis on raising their kids in a friendly manner and reducing the influence on them. Rain was accused of substance misuse and threats by Noah and Rain, who filed for a protective order against her earlier in 2024. Noah's guest cabin is close to Rain's rental house. According to reports, he has hired a divorce lawyer, is actively creating a new support system, and is ready to allow Rain to keep the main house if necessary. Noah recently responded to fans' worries about his financial situation and the welfare of his kids, drawing both praise and criticism from the general public. Snowbird, the second member of the Brown family who battled cancer, comes next. Snowbird Brown. During the 2022 premiere of Season 14, Snowbird Bird Brown's diagnosis of 2 ovarian cancers saddened viewers. Fortunately, the tumors were not malignant and were successfully removed during emergency surgery. She continues to be monitored with routine tests and blood work every few months, but physicians have cautioned that there is an 80% possibility of recurrence. Recovery from the surgery wasn't as easy as Snowbird had anticipated. She experienced minor issues such as small cysts and fluid accumulation around scar tissue. However, she was able to resume her everyday activities, such as taking care of her dogs and doing chores, after her recuperation. As she embraces entrepreneurship and shares her off-grid lifestyle online, Snowbird started her YouTube channel, Birds of a Feather, in 2025. She also sells handmade jewelry, candles, and dream catchers through her Etsy store, Snowbird Crafts. She is active on Instagram, TikTok, and forums, particularly during TikTok live sessions, even though she posts less on social media than her siblings. She clearly identifies herself as a cat woman and a nature lover by often posting updates on her cats, wildlife movies, baking moments, and nature photos. In the family, Snowbird is a grounded influence, and she assisted in taking care of her mother, Ami, throughout her medical crisis. In addition, she has a strained relationship with her older brother, Matt. Rain Brown completes the cast of Alaskan Bush People. Brown Rain. Since the conclusion of the episode in 2022, Rain has shown herself to be a strong young adult. She took a break from social media after her father's death to concentrate on mental health, but she later returned with messages and images that drew inspiration from nature, promoting healing and self-compassion. Rain now resides at North Star Ranch in Washington and continues to document ranch life while leaving the main Brown homestead. She also likes to write, play music, and do crafts. Rain has been candid about her battles with loss and despair. After 2021, she looked for expert assistance. She frequently posts inspirational words on Instagram, encouraging followers to get support, discover inner peace, and appreciate the power of self-love. She announced their engagement to chef Josiah Lawton in late 2023, and they were married in January 2025. Even though Bear and other siblings were not there at the wedding, Rain nevertheless wrote touching postings honoring their union. Rain and Josiah were arrested on April 11, 2025, in Okanogan, Washington, on suspicion of trespassing, criminal mischief, and first-degree burglary. Later, while plea talks were still going on, they were freed on their own recognizance. Fans are reminded of the wilderness obstacles of the Alaskan Bush People show by Rain Brown, who loves working on a ranch. Obstacles in the woods. The Browns battled Alaska's harsh climate, which included sub-40 degrees Fahrenheit, thick snowfall, and howling winds, and their off-grid existence gave them the nickname Wolfpack. They skillfully used native wood, moss, and hides to construct insulated dwellings, lean-tos, log cabins, and snow caves. Living near wolves, moose, and bears necessitates ongoing vigilance. They became experts at monitoring animals, storing food, and using protection strategies like bear safety and noisemaking. Additionally, they relied on traditional means of subsistence, such as hunting with rifles and bows, fishing in rivers and ice, and gathering wild greens, berries, and mushrooms. Their use of wood-fired stoves, solar panels, and rainwater gathering required creativity. To survive without grid electricity, they made compost toilets, filtered water, and used less energy. Through the use of compasses, stars, landmarks, fire starting in damp conditions, first aid, tool repair, and improvisation, the family developed navigational skills that are critical for living in isolation. There were nonetheless some controversies even though the show was both thrilling and demanding. Disputes. The claims of fraud in residency were among the most significant concerns. Billy Brown and other defendants entered a guilty plea in 2015 for allegedly fabricating their residency in order to receive more than $20,000 from the Alaska Permanent Fund payout. Joshua and Billy were fined and imprisoned for 30 days. This, according to critics, compromises the show's portrayal of authentic off-grid existence. Even worse, some claimed that the parts with Alaskan Bush People were staged. Crews supposedly built Brown Town, and the family reportedly stayed in nearby motels. To add excitement, others also said they made up situations and staged wildlife encounters. Land and filming problems also arose, with claims that cabins were shot on public property and potential violations of the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act. The impact of the production sparked local outrage and environmental concerns. Not to be overlooked are the family court cases. Noah filed a welfare concern complaint in 2025, claiming that Ami and Rain struggled with drugs. At about the same time, Rain and her husband were charged with stealing family property and arrested for burglary. Meanwhile, the negative publicity was exacerbated by disputes related to Billy's estate. In addition to the conflicts, the Bush People of Alaska have encountered additional difficulties and grown over time. Spin-offs, hiatus, and relocation. In 2017, they achieved a significant milestone. When Ami's need for lung cancer treatment prompted the Browns to relocate from remote Alaska to Washington state. From harsh wilderness survival to homesteading, ranching, and family interactions, it was a significant shift. There hasn't been a new episode since season 14 premiered in December 2023. Although the show is classified as on hiatus, Discovery hasn't formally canceled it. This is probably because of Billy Brown's death in 2021 and a $500,000 lawsuit concerning his inheritance. Bear Brown is still adamant that it isn't canceled, but rather put on hold because of ongoing legal issues and company reorganization. Behind the scenes with Bear Brown, Bear announced Alaskan Bush People in April 2024. A web-based spin-off that provides commentary and inside video. Although it was supposed to premiere in the summer of 2024, no episodes have shown up. Then, in March 2025, he hinted at a new project, Next Generation of Alaskan Bush People, which was independently created on YouTube and featured his brother Gabe and his young family returning to Alaska. Which Brown sibling is your favorite? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. Remember to subscribe and like this video for more unseen tales. Click the next video that appears on your screen while you're here. You won't want to miss anything else.